Let's talk about the timpani etude. The timpani etude that you need to do for this audition for 2025 is page 21 from Musical Studies for the Intermediate Timpanist by Garwood Whaley, published by JR Publications. You're going to start at measure 26 and go all the way to the end of the etude. Tempo is quarter note equals 108 beats per minute. Again, if you can get a cleaner performance playing slightly slower, then by all means do that. A cleaner performance is always preferred to a less than clean performance at a faster tempo. The timpani etude by Garwood Whaley that you have to play requires control, great tone even at loud volumes, dynamic contrast, balance among the three drums, and an overall exciting musical character. According to Gar, he says this exercise should be played in an energetic manner. The fortissimo dynamic level must be loud, but never to the point of producing a poor sound. For this particular etude, because it's so rhythmically dense, I recommend hard ultra staccato mallets, so something slightly harder than what is marketed as general timpani mallets. Some specific examples of this can include the Vic Firth Tim Genis Gen 7 timpani mallets or the Vic Firth T4 American Custom ultra staccato mallets. As far as the tuning suggestion, assuming that your timpani are tuned in their optimal ranges, I strongly recommend tuning the notes on the bottom three drums. I should emphasize, though, that you should use the drums where you can get the best in-tune sound for each note. On the 32, or the largest drum, I have the F. On the 29-inch, the middle drum, I have a C. And then on the 26, I have my F. In terms of intervals, think the first two notes of the Star Wars theme for the F to C, and then the first two notes of Here Comes the Bride for C to high F. You can also do an octave check by comparing the low F and the high F. So a couple quick tips. Practice tuning the notes every day, both on a piano/mallet instrument and on the timpani. Tune with a mallet rather than your fingers. The mallet will produce a more fundamental sound with less overtones than what your fingers will play. Always remember to reset the tension of the heads by bringing the pedals back to the heel down position if you overshoot the note. A couple things about this specific etude. In measure 26, although there are rests there, don't muffle until you get to the rest in measure 29, beat 1. Remember, muffling can interrupt the phrase and its direction if done too many times at a given moment. Spend time balancing the C and the F when playing the double stops. The natural tendency will be for the C to be lost to the sound of the F. So when you're approaching this measure, spend a little bit of time to just work out the balance. Until you can clearly hear both notes perfectly balanced, to quote Thanos, as all things should be. In measure 27 on beats 3 and 4, I recommend doing a cross sticking. I have some suggested stickings for this etude below. Cross the right over the left on beat 3 and on the and of 4. Be very linear with your motion when doing the cross sticking. As a reminder, think of your hands moving more like a record needle rather than a windshield wiper. Here's an example of this. In measure 29, muffle on all rests with your left hand in this measure, beat 1, beat 3, and beat 4. This is where we're going to start muffling the drums. Measures 30 to 31, I follow my recommended sticking when executing these measures. Make sure that all three drums are balanced when playing. A great way to check the balance is to mute the three drums by placing towels or your school's timpani mutes on them, as it takes the ring out of the equation, allowing you to listen properly for evenness. Kind of like this. In measure 32, again, follow my recommended sticking. Double rights will make this measure much easier. In measure 33 for the fortissimo piano roll, strike the drum once, and then immediately sneak the roll into the ringing of the first strike. Then crescendo the roll. I call this the strike and sneak. And again, as you keep going, in measure 35 especially, maintain balance and good tone in this measure. Let's talk about how we end this etude. All drums should be muffled by beat 4 of the final measure. I recommend doing the following to ensure that. Right as you play the high F on beat 3, muffle the C natural with your left hand. And then on beat 4, muffle both Fs simultaneously. There's a small chance that you might have a little bit of ring over from the F natural, from the C, and if that's the case, just quickly bring your hands there. The idea is to get rid of all sound by beat 4, because again, with this instrument, unlike mallets or snare drum, we really have to think about the duration of the notes. And now for a full performance of this timpani etude that you need for your audition. Again, using a very articulate mallet, balancing the drums, and making sure that at all times that you play with a great tone will really help you succeed with this etude.